What if the greatest source of a woman's strength isn't love, success, or attention, but solitude? In a world that often celebrates constant connection and outward achievement, solitude is misunderstood as loneliness or weakness. Yet, it holds a secret power that few women tap into, a power that shapes identity, sharpens intuition, and builds resilience. Imagine a woman entering a room without saying a word. She doesn't demand the spotlight or seek validation, but you can feel her presence. There's a quiet force about her, an unshakable calm and confidence that makes her unforgettable. This woman's strength doesn't come from others' recognition, but from a deep, inner well cultivated in moments alone. Psychologist Carl Jung believed solitude was not mere isolation, but a sacred space for self-discovery. It's where one confronts their shadow, the hidden, often uncomfortable parts of the self, to grow and heal. For a woman, embracing solitude is an act of courage and self-honoring, allowing her to reconnect with her authentic self beyond societal expectations. In this exploration, you'll learn why solitude isn't a void to be feared, but a sanctuary to be embraced. Discover how choosing solitude can transform a woman into someone truly untouchable, rooted, powerful, and radiant from within. Certainly. Here's a 300 to 350 word exploration of cultural conditioning and the fear of solitude, especially regarding women. Cultural conditioning and fear of solitude. In many societies, solitude is often culturally framed not as a valuable state of self-reflection or empowerment, but as a sign of loneliness, failure, or even weakness. This stigma is particularly pronounced for women, who are traditionally expected to embody roles that center around connection, caregiving, and emotional availability. From a young age, women are frequently socialized to be caretakers, prioritizing the needs of others, seeking approval, and maintaining harmonious relationships. This cultural conditioning links a woman's self-worth closely to external validation, reinforcing the idea that being alone equates to being unwanted or incomplete. Women's identities are often tied to their ability to nurture and please those around them. Society praises emotional labor and relational skills as feminine virtues, pressuring women to constantly attend to others' feelings while suppressing their own needs. As a result, solitude can become a source of anxiety rather than comfort, as being alone threatens the validation and connection that affirm their value. The fear of solitude is thus intertwined with a fear of abandonment or social invisibility, driving dependency on others for emotional support and approval. This cultural narrative contrasts sharply with the ideal of constant social connection, amplified by modern technology and social media, where continuous visibility and interaction are equated with success and belonging. The relentless demand for connection fosters an environment where solitude is not only rare, but also culturally suspect. Women, in particular, may struggle to find space for solitude without guilt or fear, as cultural norms discourage disengagement from the social sphere. Reclaiming solitude as a positive, self-affirming experience requires challenging these deeply ingrained cultural messages. It involves recognizing that solitude does not signify deficiency, but offers a vital opportunity for self-discovery, autonomy, and emotional resilience, qualities essential for true connection rather than mere dependence. The psychological journey, shadow and individuation. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow refers to the unconscious parts of ourselves that we repress or deny. Those qualities, desires, and impulses deemed unacceptable by our conscious mind or society. These shadow aspects are not inherently bad, but often include traits and emotions we find uncomfortable or shameful, such as anger, jealousy, selfishness, or vulnerability. Because we push these parts into the unconscious, they can exert a hidden influence over our thoughts, behaviors, and relationships, often causing inner conflict and confusion. To truly begin the process of self-understanding and integration, solitude becomes necessary. In the quiet space away from external distractions and social masks, we are forced to confront what lies beneath the surface. Without solitude, the relentless noise of the outside world and the company of others can serve as constant distractions or defenses, preventing us from recognizing and accepting our shadow aspects. Solitude is not merely physical isolation, but a sacred inner space where the mind can slow down and the deeper layers of the psyche emerge into awareness. It is in these moments of solitude that we begin to witness our shadow without judgment, opening the door to healing and transformation. This confrontation with the shadow is part of a larger, lifelong process Jung called individuation. Individuation is the journey toward becoming whole, a gradual integration of both the conscious self and the unconscious parts, including the shadow. It involves recognizing, accepting, and harmonizing the different facets of our psyche so that we no longer live fragmented or split between who we appear to be and who we truly are beneath the surface. This process enriches self-awareness, fosters authenticity, and cultivates inner balance. Importantly, the individuation journey cannot unfold amid noise or crowds. It demands sacred solitude, because only in silence and stillness can we face the hidden parts of ourselves honestly and deeply. Social environments often encourage us to wear masks or maintain personas, while solitude strips these away and invites profound self-reflection. Facing the shadow in solitude is both painful and powerful. It requires courage to face uncomfortable truths, yet it also unlocks immense growth. By embracing the shadow, we reclaim lost energy, resolve inner conflicts, and discover new dimensions of strength and creativity. The psychological journey of shadow work and individuation, nurtured by solitude, leads to transformation, bringing us closer to our authentic, whole selves. The cost of avoiding solitude: emotional exhaustion and identity loss. In today's hyper-connected world, many women find themselves relentlessly avoiding solitude, driven by an unconscious need to seek approval and please others. This constant outward focus, while seemingly a way to maintain relationships and social bonds, often leads to deep emotional exhaustion. The non-stop effort to meet others' expectations demands immense energy, leaving little room for self-care or inner reflection. Over time, this people-pleasing becomes a draining cycle. Women push themselves to be perpetually available, agreeable, and responsive at the expense of their own emotional well-being. The psychological toll of over-socializing can be severe. Anxiety creeps in as women worry about how they are perceived, fear rejection, or dread disappointing those around them. This heightened vigilance wears down the nervous system, precipitating burnout, a state of chronic fatigue, irritability, and emotional numbness. Without moments of solitude to recharge and reset, the mind grows overwhelmed. The incessant social stimulation blurs boundaries, leading to self-erosion, where a woman's own needs and desires become submerged beneath the demands of others. At the heart of this exhaustion lies a fractured identity. When a woman's sense of self is rooted primarily in external validation, she loses touch with her inner voice. Her worth becomes conditional, fluctuating with the approval or disapproval she receives from friends, family, and colleagues. This fractured self is fragile, constantly seeking reinforcement to stave off feelings of emptiness or inadequacy. Without a firm grounding in solitude, she struggles to know who she truly is beyond the reflections cast by others. This chronic dependence on external validation is not just tiring, it is addictive. Like any addiction, it promises fulfillment, but delivers only temporary relief. Each compliment or affirmation acts like a brief high, masking the underlying fragility of self-worth. Over time, this external scaffolding becomes a cage, limiting authentic growth and self-acceptance. The danger of losing oneself without solitude is profound. Without moments alone, where a woman can confront her true thoughts and feelings, the risk of becoming a mere echo of others' expectations grows ever greater. The loss is not just emotional or psychological, it is existential. The absence of solitude means the self, the core of identity, slowly dissolves, leaving behind a hollow shell shaped by everyone else but her. The power of solitude. Case studies and research. Numerous psychological case studies highlight how women have experienced profound personal transformation through embracing solitude. For instance, women recovering from toxic relationships often find that time alone provides essential mental space to disentangle their identities from harmful attachments. In one clinical study, women overcoming emotional abuse reported that solitude helped them rebuild self-esteem and develop emotional resilience. Similarly, burnout, common among caregiving or high-pressure roles, can be alleviated by intentional solitude, allowing the mind to rest and recalibrate. Women who once felt dependent on external validation describe solitude as a powerful moment for reconnecting with their authentic selves, discovering inner strength, and fostering self-compassion. Solitude creates a unique psychological environment for creativity, clarity, and authentic self-connection. Without the noise of social expectations or constant external input, the mind can engage deeply with personal thoughts, dreams, and emotions. This mental space nurtures innovation and insight, often inaccessible in the busyness of daily life. The brain's default mode network, DMN, is particularly active during periods of quiet reflection. Neuroscientific research shows that the DMN supports introspection, autobiographical memory, and self-referential thinking, crucial components for understanding one's life narrative and purpose. Historically and contemporarily, women like Virginia Woolf and Simone de Beauvoir exemplify the transformative power of solitude. Woolf's seminal essay, A Room of One's Own, famously underscores how physical and mental solitude enabled her creative genius. De Beauvoir's philosophical works, deeply rooted in reflective solitude, challenged societal norms and inspired generations. Their examples illustrate that solitude is not a form of escape or isolation, but an intentional rebuilding process, an opportunity to reclaim agency and power. In sum, solitude is a dynamic and healing force for women, providing the mental space necessary to recover, create, and reconnect with their truest selves. It stands not as withdrawal, but as an essential act of personal empowerment and renewal. Solitude as rebellion and liberation. Solitude, often misunderstood, serves as a powerful form of rebellion against societal expectations, especially for women. In a world where women are frequently pressured to conform, whether through caretaking roles, emotional labor, or constant availability, Choosing solitude becomes an act of defiance. It challenges the relentless cycle of people-pleasing and emotional dependency that society often imposes, creating a space where women can reclaim their autonomy. By embracing solitude, women break free from external validation and the exhausting demand to fulfill others' needs at the expense of their own. This intentional withdrawal nurtures independence, allowing intuition to sharpen and become a trusted guide. When alone, without distractions or societal noise, the mind and heart align, fostering clarity and self-awareness. Solitude cultivates emotional sovereignty, a state where feelings are acknowledged and managed internally, rather than dictated by others' expectations or reactions. Despite these profound benefits, solitude is frequently misinterpreted. It is not coldness or emotional detachment, nor is it selfishness or arrogance. Rather, solitude is a deliberate and nurturing choice to honor oneself fully. It is the essential groundwork for true self-possession, a deep, untouchable core of being that resists manipulation or control. This untouchability born from solitude is liberation. It is a fortress of self-possession where external forces lose their power to sway or unsettle. In solitude, one becomes sovereign, an individual who defines their value independently of social approval or dependency. Far from being isolation, solitude is the birthplace of freedom. The freedom to exist authentically, rebelliously, and unshaken in a world that often demands conformity. Untouchability is often mistaken for mere physical distance or separation, but it transcends the external to become a profound psychological and emotional state, a fortress of unshakable confidence and radiant clarity. It is not about pushing others away, but about owning one's inner world with absolute sovereignty. Untouchability is the armor forged from clarity, boundaries, and the fierce determination to live life on one's own terms. At its core, this state arises from crystal-clear self-awareness. When you know who you are, your values, your desires, your limits, you build boundaries that protect your energy and preserve your peace. These boundaries are not walls of fear, but gates of respect, opening only for those who honor your essence. Owning your life fully means stepping into every moment with authority, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a master of your destiny. This self-possession radiates outward like a lighthouse beam, cutting through the fog of doubt and judgment. Solitude is the crucible where untouchability is forged. In the quiet, away from the noise of others' expectations, you learn to validate yourself without external approval. Emotional regulation becomes second nature as you sit with your feelings, unflinching and whole. Independence blossoms, not as loneliness, but as the powerful freedom to stand alone, rooted deep in your own truth. Untouchable women carry this energy, often misunderstood as aloof or inaccessible. Yet beneath that surface lies a wellspring of respect and awe. They move through the world like ancient trees, unshaken by storms, their presence commanding reverence. To be untouchable is to embody a sacred sovereignty, an inner temple where only the worthy may enter, and all who witness it feel its profound power. Conclusion and call to action. Our journey has taken us from the fear and misunderstanding of solitude to a profound embrace of it as a wellspring of power and wholeness. Too often, solitude is mistaken for loneliness, a state to be avoided at all costs. But in truth, solitude is far from loneliness. It is a sacred portal to the deepest, most authentic parts of ourselves. It invites us to listen closely, to heal, and to grow beyond the noise and demands of the external world. I challenge you now to reconsider your own relationship with being alone. What if solitude was not your enemy, but your greatest ally? What if the moments you spend alone could become the foundation of your strength, clarity, and peace? By choosing to embrace solitude, you reclaim your inner space, nurture your selfhood, and ignite the untouchable spirit within you. Every woman holds within her the power to become whole and free, untethered from external validation and unshaken by the chaos around her. Solitude is not withdrawal, but a conscious stepping into your true self. It is here, in this sacred space, that you can rise, heal, and shine. To close, I leave you with the words of Carl Jung, who so eloquently captured the essence of this journey. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Embrace solitude, and through it, discover the voice and power that make you truly whole.